What's going on, guys? Sharif here, natural bodybuilder, preparing for my natural bodybuilding show in 8 weeks, or maybe it's 7 weeks right now. And I want to talk about an important subject. I hear a lot of people, sometimes they tell me, well, you're natural. You're not going to get as shredded. There's no way that you get even leaner as a natural. You won't see the veins that much. Guys, that is not really true, all right? You got to consider that, you got to have that in mind, that you can still get super lean, super dry as a natural. Of course, you're not going to get the same level of conditioning as someone that is enhanced, but it's not because you're natural that you won't be able to get as shredded, all right? There are things to consider, how to avoid losing a lot of muscle mass, because what I often see when I'm looking at natural shows is that people lose so much muscle mass. The other day, I was looking at a natural bodybuilding show just to see what I'm going to kind of compete against. And not to hate on any guys, but a lot of them were pretty much super skinny. And I'm like, whoa, like at this point, there's barely any muscle. Yeah, you're lean, you're dry. But I would have waited at least 5-6 more years to put on more mass, because as soon as you're leaning down, guys, especially as naturals, we have a lot less muscles than we think. All right. And once you lean down, you want to get into that stage ready shape. And conditioning, you realize that I don't have much muscles left. All right, I'll give you a few tips to kind of avoid that, because, well, of course, you got to build the muscle mass first, but I'll give you a few tips to consider when you're trying to get as lean as possible as a natural to help you maintain that muscle. All right, like I said, you will not get, I'm just watching Chris Bumstead's video. You will not get that level of dryness. There is no way. It's super hard. All right. And if you do, you will sacrifice a lot of muscle mass. All right. Because us as naturals, it's so much easier for us to go into catabolism. It's so much easier for our body to start breaking down muscle tissue, breaking down protein for energy. Once you get to a low body fat percentage, basically, your body will start breaking down muscles. All right. When you're taking PEDs, it's a lot easier to stay anabolic, let's say, to prevent muscle loss. And that's why we see a lot of naturals trying to get super lean, but yet they lose a lot of muscle mass. So, few tips. Well, number one for me, the number one tip is keeping my carbs around my training. Keeping my carbs around my training and not cutting carbs super low. I would say never going under 150. Now I'm not even going under 150 grams of carbs, which I still consider low, but 150 grams of carbs minimum a day. All right, maybe for the peak week or for the dry out, the days a little bit before, we will go down. But as I'm dieting, guys, you don't want to cut your carbs drastically. All right. Carbs, muscle glycogen, improve your performance. I mean, I made a video on that. You guys know it already. But once you lower those carbs super low, your body will also lose a lot of water. You will realize fast that you will become flat. And next thing you know, your muscles is nowhere to be seen, all right? So you don't want to drop those carbs. It's also going to very much stress your body. Even if you see a bodybuilder dieting on 50 grams of carbs for a whole month, you as a natural doing that, forget it. Forget it. You just will feel very bad and you lose a lot of muscle mass. So that's the first thing, keeping your carbs I'm not going to say high, but moderate. All right. And keep them around your training times. That's tip number one. Tip number two, go for more lower intensity cardio, longer time. You want to get shredded? Go for more lower intensity cardio, longer time rather than higher intensity. All right. We want to minimize the stress on the body as much as possible, so our body doesn't go catabolic and goes into that fight or flight mode. You're already stressing your body by dieting and training and pushing yourself at the gym and your diet. And now you're adding that high intensity cardio. What do you think your body will do? Cortisol will go up, and now your body will stop giving you what you're trying to get out of it. All right. So you don't want to overstress it. You don't want to fight against your body. And that's what happens when you're doing a lot of those high intensity cardio sessions. So keep it low intensity. Go for a walk, incline walk, fast walk. Okay. Maybe your goal can just be a step count. I'm doing 20,000 steps every single day, but it's not stressful at all. All right. I've tried doing the 45-minute step master, and guess what? The next day I was drained and hungry and tired and depressed and frustrated. Okay. And it's not, oh, well, I'm not strong enough. No, it's not because of that. We got to understand the hormonal impact behind it and optimize everything. All right. If I'm burning 1,000 calories from my cardio, I'd rather do it in a way that is not super stressful on my body. So that's tip number two. Tip number three, I gotta say, you gotta adjust your trainings and I'm always been telling people you gotta train hard, you gotta train hard, but you also gotta train smart, guys. You know, now that I'm few weeks out, I mean, there's still a long way, a good 2 months, but now that my calories are lower, I'm just not pushing myself as much at the gym. And it's not that I'm not training hard, I'm still training hard, but I adjusted my training programs. Compound lifts, a lot of them I did take them out. All right, guys, you gotta understand the risk of injury is just higher. It's just higher. It's just the way it is. So I'm not gonna be doing the barbell back squat and pushing myself to failure. Let's be real. I've been training for over 13 years. I'm not gonna be building muscle in 8 weeks out now in a deficit. So my goal is maintaining my muscle mass, which means that I gotta stimulate and get that muscle to failure, give it the stimulus needed. So that is why for me, let's say now, yesterday I had a chest session. Usually I would go on the barbell bench press or even the incline dumbbell press. But in the phase that I'm at now, the deficit, the cardio that I'm doing, the risk of injury is just so much higher because my body's tired. And we've seen it all the time, bodybuilders getting injured a few weeks before the show. And they are enhanced. So imagine you as a natural, how much riskier it is. So what happens is that, I know I made a video saying not to do that. But now that I'm going through it, well, I'm spending most of my time on machines. All right, and guess what? I'm getting the same results. I'm getting those muscles to failure. I'm getting sore the next day. And the risk of injury is just so much lower. I was watching a video of Derek Lunsford the other day, and he's doing, I think he was doing deadlifts or barbell rows. Super heavy. And the form wasn't even like the best. I mean, someone was criticizing him. Of course, he's Mr. Olympia. He knows what he's doing, but I'm like, every single rep, he could rip something off. And he's going for 10, 12 reps. And the risk of injury is just so much higher. People that are enhanced, I don't know how they must feel, but I'm pretty sure that they get that extra kick or that extra confidence or that extra support. But me, I wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe mentally because I'm scared of getting injured. But even the other day, I was doing dumbbell rows. And usually I would do dumbbell rows easily 80, 90 pounds, 100 pounds, no problem when I'm in off season. I was doing it with 55 or 60 pounds, holding, but really taking my time. And I'm like, I'm just feeling so unstable because I'm so much lighter. So can you imagine with a back squat? I would easily do 3 plates of back squat on a normal diet. Now I would maybe put a plate and a half and still feel like I'm unstable. So why go through that? I'd rather just go on a leg press or a leg extension, get my quads to failure. But anyways, so yeah, that's another point. Tip number 4, I would say keep up your creatine intake, guys. Keep that creatine in there. Drink a lot of water. Keep up that creatine in there. Tip number 5, keep your protein high. You're dieting down. You want to keep the protein high. This is a trick that I'm using right now. Really keeping my protein super high. Because carbs are pretty low. Fats are pretty low. What is there left? Eat more protein. Protein will fill you up, satiate you. Very high thermic effect. So protein's thermic effect is 25% as opposed to fats or carbs, which is like 3-5%. So protein basically needs calories to digest. It increases your metabolism, all right? Makes you burn even more calories, satiate you, so you're full after eating. After drinking a protein shake, I feel full, all right? Helps you build muscles, increase your testosterone. So a lot of good things come from protein. So keep that protein high. You don't want to be hungry. I really believe that you never want to be starving, even on prep. Maybe the last few days, last few weeks. But in reality, being in a deficit shouldn't be starving as much as having the right food choices. So let's say usually, I don't know, I would eat maybe a bit more rice. Now I'm just doing a bit more veggies, you know? Big deal. I'm still full. It's just my choices are different, all right? The protein's still high. So that's it for this video, guys. Just want to say, if you're natural, you can still do it. Don't expect to get as much dry as keeping that crazy condition as enhanced lifter. And don't expect to maintain, well, the goal is maintaining as much muscle mass as you're drying down. And that's why you got to implement tricks that will help you and benefit you, all right? And it's normal if you feel skinny. It's normal. I feel super skinny. And I thought I had a lot of muscles, but now that I'm dieting down, hey, I'm 155. Can you imagine? 155, 5'7". Anyways, guys, I shall see you soon. Thanks for following up the journey. Let's go. If you're interested to see where it leads a few weeks out from the show, just keep following, like, subscribe. Let's get it. Ciao.